Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am excited to be back with you again today. I want to say thank you for those of you who are joining me live, and also welcome to those of you who may be watching the replay. Again, for those of you who don't know me, maybe this is your first time seeing me, my first time on your timeline or on your page. I am Trisetta Washington, CEO and founder of Profitable Productivity, where we help leaders to build high performing teams and organizations. And this week, we are doing something a little bit different. I am letting the wheel of names select our topic for our live streams. As I mentioned yesterday, I took a little bit of a hiatus from doing live streams, and I thought, what a fun way to get back into the habit of doing it than to do something a little fun and use the wheel of names to select a topic. So I'm going to spin the wheel of topics, and it's going to randomly select the topic, and whatever it lands on, that's what I'm going to share my expertise around. So I have 5 main content pillars that I focus on. These are the areas, kind of my areas of expertise. One is building high performing teams, leading through change and uncertainty, creating sustainable leadership, and preventing burnout, maximizing productivity and impact, as well as kind of emotional intelligence for leaders. So the topics are all around that. Many of these topics you all suggested. These are things that you all wanted to hear about. And so let me go ahead and pull up our wheel, and we'll go ahead and give it a spin and see what we come up with. All right, let's see here. All right, we got our wheel, and I'm going to go ahead and click and see what our topic will be today. All right, leading with authenticity and vulnerability. That is going to be what we're chatting about today. Okay, so give me a moment to let me get this back. All right, so feel free to, if you have a topic that you want me to add to the wheel of names for the rest of the week, feel free to drop it in the comments. Also, I want to encourage you to tag another leader in the chat who may want to be, who may want to hear about this topic. All right, so my aim is to share with you at least 3, kind of like 3 tips or strategies, kind of 3 main points. I'll just say it that way. I'll have 3 main points for whatever we're talking about. And like I said, the wheel has spoken, and we're going to be talking about leading with authenticity and vulnerability. And you may be like, Trisetta, how does that align with building high performing teams or high performing organizations? Well, it's so important for us as leaders for us to be able to build trust with those that we're leading. When we don't have that foundation of trust, then it's difficult for us to pull out or to get the most out of the people who are on the front lines doing the bulk of the work. And so it's important for us to be able to be vulnerable with them, because vulnerability builds trust. Oftentimes we feel like, oh, I need to, I've got to trust you. I've got to trust someone before I can be vulnerable with them. But the opposite is true. In order for us to create trust, there first has to be a certain level of vulnerability. And it's difficult to be truly vulnerable if you are not authentic. So now that I've kind of got a little bit of a roll going, I'll share with you kind of my 3 points. So the first thing that I would say is to embrace imperfection, right? We have to let go of this need to feel like we have to show up perfect, or that we need to look like we are perfect to everyone else, and be willing to show our authentic self, including those vulnerabilities. Um, and like I said earlier, like this is what helps to build trust, and it enables you to create a more relatable, yeah, it helps to create a more relatable and human leadership style. People, when you try to portray that you are perfect, and people will kind of set you up on this pedestal, and when you do make a mistake, because listen, nobody is perfect and mistakes are going to happen, it can cause a rift between with those you lead, because you've portrayed yourself in this way. But if you are willing to be open and willing to be vulnerable and admit that I don't have it all together, I don't know all the answers, and build that rapport with those that you lead, it's going to really help you to build that foundation of trust, so that you can lead them where you're desiring them to go, so that you can have the impact on the communities that you serve, right? So definitely want to encourage you to um embrace your imperfectness. Right? Embrace your imperfectness. Um Something else that I would say would be to share your own story with them, your own journey. Um you didn't get to where you are without challenges, roadblocks, and hurdles that you had to overcome. And you can utilize your own journey, your own stories of your kind of rise to leadership, if you will, as kind of these personal antidotes. Because what happens is that can help to demonstrate that relatability, right? People can relate to you. They're like, oh yeah, they went through that as well. It helps make it appear more attainable to aspire to the level of leadership and authority that you have gotten into. So and again, it helps you to really demonstrate that vulnerability, and it helps your team members to connect with you on a deeper level. It fosters this sense of sameness, of oneness, or of like humanity, right? Because they see like, oh, he or she is just like me. Um, one of the worst things that I think can happen in an individual's kind of mindset is the belief that they are alone, but they're the only one to experience insert whatever the challenge is. And the truth of the matter is there's not nothing new under the sun. Like the every experience pretty much has been a shared experience in some way, form, or fashion. We There's very few unique experiences. I'll say it that way. Now, there may be some nuances to it, but there's very few kind of really unique experiences. And so, by sharing your challenges, your struggles, and experiences that you've had in the workplace, it helps you to really build um, build that connection on a deeper level, right? And because, like I said, when it comes to high performance, um, people don't want to be talked down to or dictated. They don't want to be micromanaged. Um, and it's helpful when you have to delegate, or when you're sharing what it is that you're expecting of others. It's helpful when you have that relationship, right? And the last thing that I would say, as it relates to leading with vulnerability, would be to be open for feedback. Well, actually, not just be open for feedback, but to actually seek out feedback. So, right. go to your team, set the foundation, lay that groundwork for them to create, for you to have an open feedback loop with them as it relates to your leadership, right? We're not perfect, and there's areas where we can improve. And so, by kind of being open to feedback from your team members, you can really use that as an opportunity for your own personal growth and development. Again, this is going to help to demonstrate a certain level of humility with them, as well as a commitment to continuous learning, to continuous improvement, right? If you desire for your team members to continue to learn and grow and get better and develop professionally, you have to set the example by being open to them sharing feedback with you. That creates it creates a really great feedback loop, because they know, one, there's not going to be retribution for them sharing constructive criticism, right? That it will be taken into consideration, right? And I did say constructive criticism. I'm not talking about being rude and disrespectful or anything like that. I'm talking about providing constructive criticism, and then allowing, that allows for, um, you to be able to provide that with them, because it's a two-way street, right? And it's, people are much more receptive. So, as a leader, like, we lead, our role, our job is to lead people in a direction, to lead them down a path. And um, leaders go first, right? That's the that's the definition. That's the nature of leadership, right? Your lead, you're out front, you're in the front, and so you have to go first. And so, in order for you to build this type of culture within your organization, you first have to exhibit those characteristics, right? If you look around your team, if you look around your organization, and the culture that you see is not what you really desire, um the change has to first begin with you, because the culture we create in our teams and in our organizations is a direct reflection of us. It is almost a mirror image of who we are and how we show up in the workplace. And so, you know look at you. Right? If you don't like what you see, look at you first. And I do want to share this as well. If you have looked around at your culture and you see that you're not happy with it, and that means that you've got to make some adjustments to you, and the way that you show up, recognize that it's going to take some time to turn the tides in your favor, right? To turn the tides in the way that you desire them to go. It's going to take some time for you to get there, because so well, I'll not I don't want to say because. So you want to recognize that your team members, or those who are on your team, your employees, may not necessarily jump right on board with these shifts immediately, because it's new and they may need some time to adjust, as well as to see if it's going to last, to see if it's going to stick, or if this is just some passing phase. So allow space, allow time and space for the shifts and that cultural adjustment to take place within your organization. So stick to it, even though you may not be seeing the results of you showing up more vulnerably or authentically, manifested immediately. Give it time for it to really take root, so that you can start to see the shifts take place, right? The consistency is really going to be key here, right? Because if you're just vulnerable one day, that doesn't undo all of what's happened. Think about your personal relationships, and how you trust and create that place of vulnerability within your personal relationships. The same applies in the professional workplace as well. So those are my three um, kind of points that I would want to share with you today. Let me see if I can remember what they were. So the last one, the third one that I just shared was to seek that feedback, to be open for feedback from those that you lead so that you can continue to grow and develop yourself as a leader. Um, the first one was, to embrace imperfection, right? Um, and recognizing that when you allow yourself to be seen, including your vulnerabilities, that really helps to be more relatable, and it builds that trust. And then the second one was to use your personal experiences, share your own personal anecdotes and experiences to as a way to demonstrate that vulnerability and authenticity, right? So those are the three. Now, if you are desiring to up level your team and you're like, Trisetta, I need some support around being a better leader, or really drawing out the most from those that I lead, and you want to have a conversation with me, I say, let's do it. You can either drop in the comments, um, drop something in the comments, or you can slide in my DMs, excuse me, and we can book a call. I'll go ahead and put the link to my calendar on screen. It's chatwithtrisetta.com. I will say I have limited availability right now. I've got an extremely heavy schedule the next several weeks. Because I travel all over the country training leaders. I don't have a great deal of availability. But if you don't see a time on my calendar that fits with your schedule, feel free to slide in my DMs, and I can work with your schedule, work around we'll navigate my schedule and make it work. So chatwithtrisetta.com, or shoot me a DM and we can get on a 30-minute call, completely complimentary, for us to discuss kind of your personal situation in on your team or your organization, and how we might be able to work together in order to build in that productivity, that high producing team. All right, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, for joining me. Come back tomorrow. I'll be right back here tomorrow at 12:30 for another spin the wheel topic, and we'll see, who knows what we'll get. Also, if you have a specific topic you want me to add to the wheel of names, let me see. I'm going to pull it back up. We still have, let me remove that. We still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 topics on here. If you want me to add something here, feel free to drop it in the comments. Or if you don't want to share it publicly, that's fine. You can slide in my DMs and kind of share, hey, Trisetta, will you add this to the wheel of topics? I'll be happy to do that. And who knows, maybe your topic will be selected. I will say, even if I don't, because I only have a couple more days, even if I don't get through all, even though I won't get through all of the topics on the wheel during this series, I will be continuing to go live on a regular basis, and I'll cover your topic at some point. So anyway, that's all I have for you today. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I hope to see you right back here tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time on your favorite platform of choice. Bye for now.